All right. Hopefully that's going. Okay. Let's start with something good to get the people interested. Why is Master Chief having a helmet on all the time such a big deal for you?
Well, okay, it's partially for the same reason as the Mandalorian having his helmet on maximum and never showing his face. Like, actively having his helmet on all the time is unrealistic to the point of, like, he has to eat and shit,
Yes.
right? So he can take it off, but the point is the fact that it shouldn't be something treated as he just takes it on and off and on and off all the time and tries to show his humanity in a very specific way, whereas the games kind of built him up in a certain way, right? As this as a very stoic character who kept his helmet on, he kept himself in that soldier space. So he was that like, sorry, choking on my food. He was that almost like perfect soldier. Kept his helmet on. He stuck to that thing. And from what I've heard about the series, I will come clean and say I've never fucking seen Halo. Because I heard bad things. I heard like my friend who's kind of like me with Star Wars, where I will watch anything with Star Wars because I'm a fucking whore for that shit. But he has the same vibe, but for Halo, right? But he's also has hyper power. Like he has really strong feelings about Halo. So if you fuck up his shit that he loves, he will probably end up being like, yeah, fuck that, and then he'll give you a whole fucking giant essay on why it was shit. And so I asked him during this little break before we started, right? I was like, so what do you think about this? He's like, they made it, he's like, it was very specific. They made this character this way, and they didn't need to use Master Chief for this if they wanted a Spartan to use the Halo world. They didn't have to use Chief. They could have kind of done what Fallout did, and either invented another Spartan and literally just had a character they could create with in the same world and had Chief as like a side character or a cameo character who helps, right? So they don't have to trample on the toes of anyone who loves the games and anyone who like knows the lore huge. Instead, they were like, nah, we're going to take Master Chief, who is known to be stoic. He's known to be a super, like the super soldier, the perfect soldier, and we're going to make him as human as possible, which really doesn't make sense in the context of the Master Chief.
So I haven't played any of the Halo games at all. I've only played Reach and a little bit of 1, but I've seen the entirety of season 1 of the Halo TV show. So I'm not as wired in when it comes to like, oh, Halo should be this, Halo should be that.
Oh yeah, apparently they also ignored like 80% of the lore from the games. They just completely ignored it. And they have also, since it's been cancelled, a lot of the writers are like, yeah, no, we didn't bother playing it or even like reading the books or anything to do with Halo. We were just like, it looks pretty. And they kind of took it as a skin to put on their world.
I mean, I'm completely fine with that because the first season was...
You have no skin in the game?
The first season was perfectly fine. I liked it. It would have been cool if they took more inspiration from like the games and stuff, as like what the Fallout TV show did. As regarding like the stuff with Halo, or not Halo, Master Chief like taking off his helmet, I completely find that whole argument just dumb.
Why? But the thing is, you also said it was dumb for the Mandalorian, and I'm like,
no,
what?
I don't think it's dumb for the Mandalorian. I just think if like the first episode of the Mandalorian, he just takes off his helmet and we see his face, and like he keeps on his helmet for like the rest of the TV show, and like takes it off sparingly or not a lot, then cool. I don't really care. I would think the same if the Mandalorian had his helmet on and like took it off like every so often. It would still be the same. I think it's more impactful if he takes it off like in moments of like story significance, like in the end of the first season when he takes it off when the IG assassin droid is like healing him with the Bacta.
IG-11. Also, so first off, that's IG-11. Second off, this is all of what I said before we took a break, Chris. Almost word for word.
But when it comes to Master Chief, the fact that he takes off his helmet and doesn't and leaves it off a lot of the time, I don't have a problem with that.
He goes into a active war zone without his helmet on.
No, he does not. In the
perfect
first
super
season, he
soldier.
does not go into a war zone with his helmet off. He puts the helmet on when he's in combat situations.
Yeah, most of the Spartans, if you've played Reach,
Yes.
right? When they go and talk to Halsey, they don't even take their helmets off for that. I also finished Halo Reach yesterday, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know.
I can remember most of those scenes.
But if they did, would it really matter if they did take off their helmets? We in Reach we do see the main Spartans with their helmets off. Like in that scene before the Reach gets glass when they're in like in the building, they're just talking with their helmets off and then they put them on.
But also the other thing about the Reach about the Nobles team, right? They don't have five games to their name, and like a very specific connection to the fan base that the Chief has, right? Because the Chief's been the main character for he was 1 through to like Infinite. He was the Master Chief, the player character. So everyone has a very specific connection to this character. And they kind of just seems to have, according to the Halo fans who actually know this character really well, they butchered how he's supposed to feel. So he doesn't feel like Chief. They've now made him something else, and they didn't like it. Like the friend I was talking about who I asked his opinion on this, right? He was like, he couldn't watch past episode 3 of the first season. He was like, this is bad.
Why?
This is very bad
Just
Halo.
because of Master Chief having his helmet off?
No, there was other reasons. So the series was apparently god awful for Halo fans. Like, for the actual fans of the series, who you'd imagine they'd at least try and make it for them because the series is a very popular series, right? So you'd think that if you make a series based off a video game, you're kind of going off the basis that you're going to sell this series. Primarily, your target audience is going to be the players of the game, right? Because you want to go and sell it. You want to get them to see their thing from like a new thing, so you've got an instant audience. The thing you desperately don't want to do is instantly alienate everyone.
When you say, why do you
All the
think
fans.
it's alienating for Master Chief to show his face?
Why do I think it's alienating for Master Chief to show his face? Because it kills the kind of mystery of the character, where you never saw his face in any of the games. Yeah, he took off his helmet. But the other problem was also showing his face, where the first time anyone saw his face was in, I believe, Halo 4, from what I saw when I googled it, was Halo 4. And it took like a lot to actually get there.
So
And there's
So
a
I-
bunch. And
So
okay,
I
I'm
still
not done
googled
yet.
this. So I'm on a Reddit thread right now. Someone
this-
has
yeah,
someone
that's-
has a list of all the times he's taken off his helmet. So in Combat Evolve, he takes his helmet off in the end, but you don't see it because of the camera angle. 2, he puts on the helmet, but we don't. He takes off the helmet, but we don't see his face. But they say the storyboards were initially going to allow us to see at least his lower jaw before the final animation was altered to make his face entirely obscured. Halo 3, he never takes it off. And Halo 4, if you beat the game on Legendary, you can see a narrow shot of his eyes only, with such overshadow that it is impossible to actually see any detail without editing the picture. 5 and Infinite, the helmet is on, and that's it. So we can infer that people in the game have seen him without his helmet on. It's just the player never sees him with his helmet off.
That's true. However, there's also in-universe reasons why people are mad he like took his stuff off, right? Especially just like casually, the way I've heard it's presented in the show, right? Where according to like a lot of the extended lore for the games, Chief just doesn't feel comfortable outside of his armor, and doesn't really like being around like other soldiers and other people. He feels uncomfortable when he's not wearing his armor, and that's part of his character as like as a general character. He doesn't like taking it off. It freaks it kind of. It's similar to the Mandalorian, where it feels wrong to take off his armor and put on something else, anything
well,
else.
in the
innately wrong to him as a
in
character.
the Mandalorian, he's been raised since like he was like a little kid to not ever take his helmet off, because it's a whole religious thing. But if you do look, I sent you like a screenshot of the episode where he does take the helmet off.
Yeah, no,
and he's just looking out the window, and everyone can.
I know exactly what you were talking about. Everyone can, but he's also, if you see the shot before this, right, it's set up that he's also looking under there's like a blind thing that's half down as well that kind of covers the top half. So that's also why in the shot, you only see kind of his chest down in his helmet. So it kind of implies, yeah, he took his helmet and he can eat. But it also kind of also implies anyone looking in won't see his face. They'll see like kind of a shadow.
Even though he's looking out the window just to see Grogu playing with the kids, and anyone who looks that way would be able to see him.
There's no light in the room he's in.
Okay.
Like
now
you're doing a bunch of things where you're trying to justify and say, no, he can do it. Anyone will see it. They can't. There's in universe lore why he can't. They can't, and why they wouldn't.
Okay, I'm looking at
going back to Master Chief.
I'm looking at the episode right now.
That's the point.
And there's plenty of light in the little cabin. They'd totally be able to see him. It's not like it's like completely at night and he's eating dinner, and there's like no.
If they were at night, then the room he was in would be lit. The idea I think they have with this.
They can. If the kids were looking at the direction, they'd be able to see him without his helmet on. 100%. And the Mandalorian just takes off his helmet, puts it on the windowsill, and eats while he's looking at Grogu play with the kids.
But you also leave out the context of that just before that, he actively asks them not to look. That there's a moment where, yeah, they could all look, right? According to you. They could all look and see him. But they also have enough respect for him that they don't, because he actively asks them not to. He makes a point of, I need to eat, but I can't show my face because that's part of my culture, right?
So
he asks them not to.
I'm looking at the episode right now.
I am literally watching the episode. And he has the same conversation with the lady who, like, seems to try and act as his, like, temptation away from religion.
I wasn't much older than they were.
Yep.
You haven't shown your face to anyone since you were a kid. No, I was happy that they took me in. And my parents were killed and the Mandalorians took care of me.
Yep.
I'm sorry. This is the way. Let us know if there's anything you need. Thank you. And then he looks out the window, the lady leaves the cabin, he gets the food, he takes off his helmet.
He eats the food, he puts his helmet back on.
Oh no, it just does a fade to a different scene.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, that's infers. It's not like he's walking around outside with everyone going, look at my face.
No,
man.
look
at my face.
Look. I know.
I'm the Mandalorian.
I know that he'd never.
You're trying to trivialize.
No, look.
I can see what you're doing. Where you're trying to trivialize the idea that he could show off his face.
No, I'm saying that in that scene, he didn't really care. He's straight up looking out a window, and everyone could look in.
Everyone could look in, but if he really didn't care, as you're claiming, he would not be sitting in a room separate from everyone else when he does
that. The whole scene would make more sense from your point of view if he never took his helmet off and it just shows his hand like go into the food and like and just picking up a piece of the food. But the fact that he takes off the fact that he takes off the helmet, the fact that he takes off the helmet and just like doesn't like is not obscured at all. Anyone looking in would be able to see his face. He doesn't really do a good job of hiding it. Not like how he usually does it when he's like with someone, like when he was like another scene where he's in a campfire and he's like moving the food underneath his helmet to eat at it.
To be fair, this scene also, he's in a dark hut away from everyone else.
It's not that dark.
Watching
Chris, it is not that dark.
The light differentiation, it doesn't have to be that dark. If you go stand outside in the sun, right? As these children are, they're standing and playing in the sun, right? And you turn around and you look into a house that's shaded and dark. Your eyes won't adjust enough, and I could show you this on a fucking camera, that if you look into that, you're still not going to see the face clearly like you would, like you're claiming.
And there's literally
they're going to see a silhouette.
There's literally a lantern right by the door that's lit up. So they'd
such a bright lantern that your point is still a stupid point where you're nitpicking. You're nitpicking a point about something else, and you're trying to use this to illustrate why the Master Chief's taking his helmet off for a season when he's supposed to be a character that A has also been trained since his childhood.
They'd 100%
actually
be able to see
he's been worse than trained.
Okay, but on that point.
You know how Master Chief was created.
Yes,
right?
I know all that stuff, but
you know how the Spartan 2s were created. Okay, how was the Spartan 2s created?
He's basically a super soldier. They do like surgical enhancements to his body, so he's like stronger and like bigger than the average human.
Yes, but when did they do that?
They do it when they're kids, so they can grow into the enhancements.
Only the Spartan 2s did this, and they did it when they were little kids. Which basically means this is a man who's trained since childhood, since really fucking young, to wear his armor, to be this soldier, right? So he would feel extreme discomfort out of his armor just because of all of that. And then you go and take him and instantly go, no armor, no nothing, no. This man would be freaking the fuck out without his shit. Like, the way they've characterized the character, they've just butchered what a lot of people found really compelling about him and made him into somebody else who is significantly less interesting.
They made him less interesting, really. So,
well, the series died after 2 seasons, and the game.
So you haven't seen the first season. You haven't seen the first season, so I don't expect you to know a lot about the story. But they really go into how Master Chief was when he was a younger kid.
So do the games.
In the first season, they basically revealed to Master Chief that he was stolen when he was a kid. They cloned him, left the cloned kid with his family, which died really soon after. So his family would believe that he was dead. They wouldn't go searching for him. He's basically stolen as a kid, turned into like this Master Chief super soldier, and the whole season is basically him being angry that Halsey took him from his family and cloned him, made his family think that he died, but he didn't. So he's basically been lied to his whole life. Yeah,
they made that the fuck up for the series.
Okay, and is there a problem with that?
To a Halo fan, where you retcon and switch it up like that, right? Now,
okay, to be fair, the
series
isn't canon in any way.
What's the point? If it's not even...
Well, because you mentioned retcon. Now, like, if Fallout did something, that like the Fallout show did something and retconned something that happened in the games, then that'd be like an issue, like timeline-wise. But given that the Halo show isn't canon in any way to the games...
You know what a retcon is?
Yes, I know what a retcon is.
Okay, then what's
a retroactive continuity change. So the
Halos.
Say Anakin was never made by the midichlorians, that it was a lie that Qui-Gon Jinn told told like the Jedi Council.
That in itself was a retcon. Because it was made episode 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. Anakin's entire fucking backstory was a retcon. It was made retroactively.
They never went into it in the
George
original.
Lucas made it up when he wrote episode 1. Yeah, no, they didn't touch on it at all in the originals.
They just say that he was Anakin Skywalker.
But it's still retro. They just said his name, right? But adding that lore is still retroactive continuity. They're still adding all that continuity retroactively. It's the same. So using retcon as a derogatory term does kind of just make it a bit meaningless with the amount of time people use it, because the Fallout series also added a bunch of retcons. For example, the fact that what's it called? What was the big company in it? The one that just nuked the whole
Vault-Tec?
the whole universe. Vault-Tec. That wasn't in any of the games. They don't tell you that Vault-Tec were the ones who actually. Yeah. Vault-Tec were the ones who actually created the wasteland and actually were the ones who nuked everything. They never tell you that. That just is revealed in the TV show.
Okay, first of all, it's never really it's never 100% said who actually started the war. It's only been only been alluded to.
In the series, there's a character who straight up says they're gonna just nuke it, and like 3 days later they nuke the wall.
Okay, what game are you referring to, and what character?
I'm referring to the series.
Well,
the live action series.
No, but you just said that there's a character in the games that straight up says, "Oh, I'm gonna nuke."
No, I said there's a character in the series.
Well, yeah,
not a character in the games.
Yeah, because
they added that retroactively to the lore, and it is canon lore to Fallout.
It's not. It's
the reason why Fallout
it's not
worked
a.
and Halo
it's not
didn't.
a retcon if it's never been properly established.
No, it is a retcon.
If it's a retcon if it's been retcon if it's been properly established, and they change it.
Okay, Chris. No, that's just a change. They do that with fucking comics all the goddamn time.
Okay, let me Google search retcon. Oh, not you.
Because there's two different meanings for retcon. You even defined it earlier.
Retcon meaning. Okay, and refers to a literary device in which the form or content of a previously established narrative is changed. Or, for short, is a literary device in which facts in the world of a fictional work that have been established through the narrative itself are adjusted, ignored, supplemented, or contradicted by a subsequently published work that recontextualizes or breaks continuity with the former. So, like I said, if we learn in like a future movie that Anakin actually wasn't created by the Force, and some other thing created him actually, or maybe they just say like that Anakin did have a father, but the father just walked out on them, and Anakin's mom didn't want to tell anyone. That would be a retcon.
Well, no one would really care about that retcon.
Yeah, they would. Yes, they would. You saw how how angry the Star Wars fandom got at the mere mention that the sisters got created by the Force, and then they people said it basically made Anakin less important.
Yeah, they said that, but that wasn't because it retconned anything about Anakin. It didn't change.
Yeah, it didn't, because they're their own separate characters.
But the thing is, because the original thing that everybody freaked out about, and that kind of got cleared up, was that people thought Plagueis created Anakin, and that Sidious was technically his father. In fact, there was a whole thing online where people didn't really care.
There was a comic.
That was the prevailing belief.
If you guys don't know, there's a comic, a Vader comic that was made by Marvel, that I think at one of the panels there's like a little a ghost version of Sidious moving his hands behind like a pregnant Anakin's mom, whatever her name is. What's her name? Shmi. Which basically implies that Palpatine is the reason why Anakin
Well, people
Yeah.
assumed that's what it implied.
I haven't read the
things,
comic, but what AC told me, it was just like a fever dream
it was
or like a vision or something,
It was like
or a nightmare.
yeah. It was basically a nightmare, but the community took it as canon, and the big deal that they threw over Osho and May's creation, that didn't happen. No one gave a shit. They were like, "Oh, cool," and moved on with life. Like, it was that fast. No one really cared that was kind of a thing that happened.
Wait, are you saying that no one really cared that Osho and May were created?
No. I'm saying that no one cared at the implication that Palpatine created Anakin, as opposed to the Force straight up creating him, which is what they say in the movies, right? In Episode 1, Shmi tells Qui-Gon
There is no father.
that Anakin was literally just came out of nowhere. She has no idea what happened, right? And that is what George Lucas would say is the true canon. Is whatever happens in the movies, that's the ironclad canon. You can't change that canon. If it happens in a book, it is malleable. You can do whatever the fuck you want with that.
Which is why I said in like if a Star Wars future movie comes out and they say like Anakin wasn't created by the midichlorians or the Force, that would be a retcon.
Something like that. But that's also, if you think about that and the way that the Fallout series was received, right, where they kind of were respectful of the lore, respectful of the games, and kind of made something that felt like you were watching one of the games, right? That's probably why the Halo series failed, is it didn't get that for Halo. It didn't get that feeling of, this is Halo. We are watching Halo. It was like, we're watching, what's it? We're watching The 100. We're watching like a fucking cheap sci-fi show on Sci-Fi. We're not watching Halo. We're watching some other thing that they just pumped out because they were like, people who play video games won't even fucking notice. And there's no giant amounts of lore that these players have invested basically decades into.
While I do agree that if the Halo show went the route of the Fallout show, it would have been better. I still enjoyed the season 1 of Halo. I haven't seen season 2 because I can't really be bothered to go and watch a new TV show right now. Although it would be good to actually watch it and have something to talk about it on the podcast.
I refuse to watch Halo on general principle.
The fact still stands that I don't really take anyone seriously when they
bad.
say that, oh, Halo was ruined because Master Chief showed his face. When he takes off his helmet multiple times, but we as the viewer just don't see his face. Like, if the next Halo game shows his face, like in a cutscene, and then it goes into gameplay and it's still first person, and it's still the same old Halo, where you throw sticky grenades at grunts, and they run away when they see you. I mean, it would still be the same. It wouldn't give me any...
Actually...
It wouldn't make me, go on a forum and say, oh my god, they fucking ruined Halo. Oh my god, Halo, Master Chief showed his face. This is like the worst Halo game ever made. I hate it. No. I would be like, oh, cool. They finally show his face and we finally know what he looks like. Okay.
I just realized why people didn't like it. Like, it's because they CWized it. So they made it feel like a CW, or at least from what I've seen and heard, right? People.
That's a problem because you're hearing it from the haters and you're not watching it for yourself. This is
I could go watch.
This is a thing that someone from work.
I could go watch.
Someone from work, as driver. He is a big Star Wars fan. He's seen every single one of them. And I told him, "Hey, have you seen The Acolyte?" And he said, "No, I've heard a lot of bad things about it though." And I told him, "Well, that's because the hate travels farther than love. That's why you see a lot of these like content creators on YouTube have such a big following, like Nerdrotic or Synthetic Man, or like people like that, or Critical Drinker.
Star Wars Theory.
They talk about stuff that, like, oh, it's so woke. oh, like the Acolyte is like the worst show because it's woke and all that stuff. When just watch it for yourself and make your own decisions about it.
I will say part of it, I'm just looking at like screenshots of the Halo show, and I will say part of what put me off wanting to watch it at all is it just looks bad. Like when I say it looks bad, I don't mean like I can tell the story looks bad. I mean like it, the design of it and the way it's shot looks bad. It's like the armor, like Master Chief's armor, right? Just going off a screenshot of what it looks like here. It looks bad, especially in comparison to like, yeah, I know it's hard to adapt like a game thing to look good in real life, but like this doesn't look.
Dude, a lot of the
Good
screenshots I'm
at
looking
all.
like the armor looks cool. Looks fine.
Yeah, but I've also been playing these games for my whole childhood, and it does not. It like, I don't know. I'm looking at the one screenshot right from that has him on like a forest world, and for some reason he looks really cheap. The whole like the shot looks cheap. The composition of the shot looks cheap, and it's next to like another shot where he's on like a desert planet, and it still looks cheap. I don't know what it is about the armor, but it doesn't look. It's just something about it just is off to me, and I can't.
I would
I can't put it on. I don't like it.
I hope you don't take this personally, but if you woulda gave me some like valid criticisms and outside of like he took off his helmet.
No, I like.
Like off like when
like,
we first started talking about this, I would have thought, oh yeah, that's some
I mean,
that's
to be
like some
fair-
valid criticisms, but
To be fair, I mostly brought that up as a joke because I thought it was funny and it would
but
annoy you.
that's
And it
that's not
worked.
a joke though. People are actually angry about this. Like if
Yeah, but I'm
like
not.
if someone
I
if
don't
someone
care
at work
enough.
told me, oh, I'm not watching the Acolyte because it's too woke. Like I wouldn't think that guy's joking. I would think that guy's being serious because there's actually like so many fans that are actually angry about new Star Wars
Like-
being like woke and stuff.
That's fair, but like, see, I feel like my criticisms of Halo are vastly different from the criticisms of like the Acolyte being too woke. Where I'm like,
It's just
Bro,
it's
the
just that
casting
your
was just, like,
it's just that your criticism
I have-
is so surface level. If you watch the show and you had issues with like the characterization of this character or
Oh, no,
that character, then I would think, oh, that holds more merit. But
oh no, to be fair, most of this conversation is a joke, and I'm like, I don't care enough about Halo to actually like have the strongest opinion. I'm just like, this is a long conversation that's actually kind of entertaining. It's fun for somebody else to listen to. It's not so much that I actually give that much of a shit about any of this because Halo is not that near and dear to my heart. I will say I don't like from the screenshots I've seen, it just doesn't look good to me and like something I would want to watch, but
so what?
that's just me. I'm not that big. Although if you go back to the Acolyte, I have some actual criticisms of that and things having ruminated on it for like a week, I can sit here and be like, okay, yeah, the Acolyte was worse than I initially felt it to be, but it was still watchable. Like, it's not the worst Star Wars has put out there, but it's also
Let's
not the best.
let's
thing
talk
ever.
about Andor just for a little bit. You've seen all of Andor, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't really get into that show. I saw like 1 or 2 episodes.
No, that's valid.
I just felt that it was too slow, and it was too.
Andor's one of those shows.
It's like a slow burn. It just couldn't really grasp me. And I think it's a problem with me and like those like James Bond like movies and stuff because it's supposed to be like a super like secret agent like type stuff like show.
Not quite.
Then what would you characterize the Andor show as then?
So Andor is closer to a character drama, right? Especially the first half of Andor. The first arc of Andor, so the first 4 episodes, aren't they haven't gone into espionage. They haven't gone into that stuff yet. That is kind of character setup, so that's just a pure character drama, and it's more about just Cassian and where he is in the world, and what his kind of motivators are. The second arc is the heist arc. That one you would love. So if you skip to, like, say, episode 5 and you watch just from there, you would probably really love Andor, because it sets up the big arc. It has all the action you want. It has a lot of drama. It has a lot of stuff showing, say, TIE fighters being really intimidating stuff. And Lindy has a point there as well.
Let's see.
But, like,
I feel like the main issue with retcons in series and such is because a lot of shows' creators, producers, and writers don't seem to understand the audience or why people like that medium. Change isn't always bad, but when you change the wrong things, you will piss the fans off. Yeah, that's true. For example, the main ending of film version of Nimona was changed from the comic plot, but fans praised true changes because of how faithfully the main ideas and main characters and what they represent was adapted. Yeah, I watched the Nimona movie and I thought the ending was fantastic. I haven't read the comic, but I have seen people say that the comic was. I have seen, like, the ending where Nimona just, like, dips out and isn't there. But I feel like the movie did the ending a lot better than the comic, because it was more impactful, with her wanting to basically kill herself because of what happened to her. I thought that was a really impactful ending. That was really good. And what were you saying, AC?
About
Andor?
Andor. And so it's divided up into, I believe it's 4 arcs, right? So arc 1 is kind of setup. It, like, shows you where Cassian is, and how he's, like, trying to escape his main world.
Mm-hmm.
The second arc is kind of showing.
Let's see. I'm looking at the Wikipedia of Andor. I'm just reading, like, the synopsis of what happens in the episode.
So the second arc is kind of.
So I only.
So the
it
second.
looks like I only got to episode 3, and that's where I.
You actually got one short of where, like, the first time shit gets, like, hits the fan, and there's, like, a bunch of shit happens. Like, you were one short of where the biggest payoff of that arc actually happened, and you probably would have started getting into the show. You stopped just before it.
Yeah, it just didn't really hook me as much as, like, Ahsoka or Acolyte really did. I think mainly because I liked Rebels, the movie. Not the... Yeah, it was Rebels, right? I think, or no, Rogue One. Rogue One. I like Rogue One, and I like Cassian in that, and, like, the other characters.
So, but I will say what Cassian did for me, or what Andor did for me, was it made Cassian's end in Rogue One
much more impactful.
Feel worse. Yeah, because now you're like, his life story has kind of been this thing of someone who's constantly struggling to try and raise himself out of being stuck in a bad situation, right? Like, the prison arc, do you mind if I give you some minor spoilers for Andor?
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah, go ahead.
You might actually watch it after the spoilers, weirdly enough. Sometimes that does it too, where you're like, that happens? And then you go and watch it just to see the thing. I've had that happen to me before, where I was like, I don't want to watch it, I don't care about spoilers, and then someone spoiled the thing, and I went, that sounds cool, and I want to watch the series. Anyway, so in like the start of the prison arc is Andor gets arrested for doing basically nothing. He, like, walks down the street and is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and some dude just arrests him. He had pulled off this big heist and stolen shit. He doesn't get arrested for it. He gets arrested for, like, apparently loitering. Like, he literally, like, was walking to a store and a dude arrests him. Like, that's what happens. He walks through, like, he watches a dude run past him, and he kind of goes,
Is that
and then, like,
does that
walks.
scene end with him, like, killing the 2 guards?
No. Because he gets arrested by a shore trooper. So like a stormtrooper.
Yeah, yeah.
If anyone's watched me playing Battlefront 2, it's the like skin I use. It's
Yeah, I've seen Rogue One.
It's
Yeah, I know
basically
which ones you're talking about. Those, God, that design for the stormtrooper is so cool.
Yeah, but he just gets straight up arrested by a shore trooper, and then when he's put before a judge, they're like, "Yeah, you got 6 months hard labor," and he goes, "For what?" And they're like, "No reason. You just got 6 months hard labor," so they send him to prison. And he's like, "What the fuck did I do?" And then the prison he gets sent to has a thing where they're like, way of controlling prisoners is all prisoners are kept barefoot at all times. But the floors are also, they electrify all the floors.
Yeah, just like in.
So if you try and do anything, you can get
I saw
electrocuted.
I
to
saw
death.
a clip of that. That's crazy. That's just like what happens in the Boys, or not the Boys, in Gen V. There's a whole like.
I think Gen V got the idea from it, but then how they escape in Andor is they break the floor. They like break the circuit that would be used for the floors, so it takes away the power from this like criminally understaffed where there's like they kind of control like hundreds of prisoners with like six troops. They basically like flood the thing and make it so it would just you turn it on, it's short, and then everyone kind of dies.
Right.
Including the guards who had like special boots so they didn't get electrocuted, but it doesn't work anymore. They broke it, and then they also like they overpowered the like 6 guards that they are when they find out that what was happening with the prisoners is they wouldn't, when they were set to be released, they'd just be sent to a different level lower down, so they couldn't communicate back with the guys they were with before. But they would just like shift them around, and then they'd have to go back to manufacturing whatever the fuck they were building. But no one actually got out. So they'd just work them to death and be like, cool, everyone's dead, no one cares, fuck you. And
are they
that's how they end
Are
up
they
with,
making a season 2 of this?
Yeah, it comes out next year. They've like half shot it, and the next season is going to take place. Each arc takes place 3 years apart, or it's going to have. I don't know if it's each arc takes place 3 years apart, or if it's just going to have like massive time jumps where it's kind of indeterminate time, but there's going to be big time jumps, because apparently it's got K2's coming in season 2, so Cassian's like droid companion.
Yeah, in Rogue One.
Yeah, so he's coming in season 2, and a bunch of other like characters from Rogue One are apparently going to appear, including the Guardians of the Wills.
Oh, dude!
So
do you think in season 2 they'll introduce the blind dude and then the guy with the minigun?
So Chirrut and Baze, they might, because in Rogue One, Cassian knows who they are. So it's possible that they introduce those two, but it's also possible they can't afford to get Donnie Yen back to shoot.
The main reason I asked is because I really like those two in the movie, and I felt like they were criminally like underused. Yeah,
they had a really cool dynamic, and I do like that they killed everyone.
Yeah,
I really liked that in Rogue One, that they were like, oh no, everybody fucking dies, and that's how it's supposed to happen. You just sit there like, oh, you bastard. I liked everyone there. They're now all dead. Ah! But yeah, no. Andor kind of sets up a lot of stakes for that and for the rebellion, because it sets up Mon Mothma, so that like she does more of the really espionage stuff, where she's funding the rebellion while still being a senator within the Galactic Republic, and like some of the sacrifices she has to make, including like letting her daughter do some weird ultra conservative shit from her homeworld, which includes like, for some reason, her like young culture has, or the culture of Chandrila, Mon Mothma's home planet had a thing where they would do, their like 16-year-old daughters would go into an arranged marriage, right? And her daughter like goes for this thing for some reason, but like as part of the sacrifice Mon Mothma has to make to get the funds for this, she lets her do it. it's quite a brutal character drama, and what the fuck? What happened there?
Hold on.
What are you doing, Chris? Why are you hiding me behind podcast notes?
Oh my god, my fucking thing. Hold on. I went to share with you the podcast notes so you'd be able to see it. Okay.
Look what he's done. He's hiding me behind the podcast notes. This man is rude.
All right, what were you saying? Just keep on going.
I'm back. But yeah, so I forgot. I got distracted by it. I was somewhere. But we can move on from me saying Andor is a really good show, and if you haven't watched Andor, go fucking watch Andor. You just have to be willing to like maybe space out the episodes. I do personally believe Andor is not something you should try and binge watch. It's like a show you should have breaks between. So like watch an episode, give yourself 2 days, give yourself a week, watch the next episode. Take your time watching it. Don't try and binge all of it in one go like a lot of shows try and get you to do. Watch Andor slowly, and then which reminds me, I should really rewatch Andor. I haven't watched it in ages, and I kind of want a refresher on what is good Star Wars.
Can you, on a side note, can you see the podcast notes?
I can, but no one else can.
Okay, that's good then.
And that's good. You don't need my notes. You don't need Chris's notes on why ZZ Top is a weird band.
What? ZZ Top? What? What do you mean?
I don't think Chris even knows.
No, I do. It's just that
yes.
there's.
Maybe why? Are you?
So one of the things I have the podcast notes is something I've been playing a lot of Zenless Zone Zero. I just abbreviated it to ZZZ. I don't know how AC got ZZ Top out of that. Maybe it's because he just forgot the last Z existed.
No, I ignored the last Z and said ZZ Top because it was funnier than being like ZZZ Top.
Now see, if you said ZZZ Top, that would have been funnier.
No,
yes.
Everyone would have been like, "What the fuck is ZZZ Top? Are you drunk?" And
no, because if people
I have rum, but
if people were watching me, they'd know that I've been playing a lot of Zenless Zone Zero, and that would have went with ZZZ Top.
ZZZ Top.
Yes.
ZZZ Top.
So I've been playing a lot of.
Chris likes.
Chris
has been playing a lot of.
Yes,
Zenless Zone
and
Zero.
It's awesome.
While listening to ZZ Top.
I don't like ZZ Top.
The whole time he's been just like listening to ZZ Top on full blast, annoying everyone in the entire neighborhood, while playing this music on like the maximum.
I don't think
possible.
I've ever even listened to a single ZZ Top album or a song.
Then you can't say you don't like them. If you've never even listened to a song, you can't say you don't like them.
Let's see, ZZ. I put ZZZ Top in Google.
I fucking knew it.
Oh, these are the dudes that were in King of the Hill.
Having never seen King of the Hill, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, see. They
there you go.
Because one of the guys' name is Dusty Hill, so they make him like a cousin of Hank Hill. That's the whole thing. It's a funny episode. But yeah, these people, I've heard of them.
Also, just as a side note, as something that annoyed me from the Acolyte, because Chris said he really preferred the Acolyte over Andor, and that's valid, because I honestly enjoyed Ahsoka more than Andor, and I also enjoyed Ahsoka more than...
God, I loved Ahsoka so much.
Acolyte. Ahsoka was great. It was like the kind of Star Wars I like the most. I'm not going to say it was the best thing ever, because Andor is honestly better written, but I'm also like, I just really, really liked Ahsoka. It was just the right amount of silly and weird.
Yeah, with like the Night Sisters bringing back the stormtroopers from the dead and making them zombies and stuff.
They're like this. Yeah, that was. I just thought it was cool. I do have to say this though.
But
about the Acolyte. There's one criticism that's like my biggest pet peeve that ever since the finale that's been driving me mad because I've been thinking about it and then like I rewatched the episode recently and I was like, oh no, this is fucking garbage. Why the fuck
Is
did they
it
do
the
this?
Kyber crystal thing? Oh
Yes.
my god.
It's the fucking
my
bleeding.
God.
But allow me to explain why I don't like it and what I don't like about
Okay.
it. Because my main problem with it isn't the fact that they bled the crystal. That's fine. Like, it's whatever. And I kind of get what they were going for, right?
Mm-hmm.
My problem with it is the fact that it feels like the character did it accidentally. Like, because of what the significance that it's been given in a lot of the media of what bleeding as kyber crystals meant to feel like, right? It's meant to be like asserting true dominance over this crystal, bleeding it, wounding it so badly in the force that it goes red, right? And having a character do it completely accidentally kind of makes it feel like, who cares about lightsaber color crystals? They can just meh. It's a meh thing to injure this crystal. So I just feel like I know what they were going for because they wanted to have like a shorthand of this character's falling to the dark side. But if you watch the scene and the way it's acted and the way it's directed, Osha's fucking confused about what happened. And I'm like, okay, wait, how the fuck did you bleed a crystal and then act confused by what happened?
Whoa, how I got it...
Because it's supposed to be...
How I got it from the whole scene
is
her feeling so angry and so like resentful and so hurt about what Soul is saying to her, and he's basically lied to her her whole life. And he's there saying, I did what I thought was the best for you, so you can have the life you've always wanted. And she's just feeling so angry. It's just bleeding into the crystal.
Yeah, like, I understand, because that's definitely what they were going for, right? The problem is that in a lot of the other media,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, the example I use is specifically Dagan Gera from Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, that's the only other media that bleeding crystal's been shown in. Outside of comics.
It's the only like animated like moving version of it where it's been shown. So I use Dagan Gera because I'm like, this is the other one where a lot of people can point to and be like, there. And why I use it is because when Dagan Gera does it, he does it straight after hearing the Jedi failed, the Jedi are dead, what they stood for, and the people who imprisoned me for 2 centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's got like 2 centuries worth of resentment in him and hatred. He takes apart his crystal. He takes apart his lightsaber, I'm sorry, and pulls out his crystal and bleeds it himself, right? But like, it's not a short, easy thing if you watch the scene, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. It's a 1 minute scene.
Yeah. Skip to where he actually does the crystal, because it starts with him doing a bit of a monologue first. There you go. So when Osha does it, she's holding a lightsaber. She doesn't even know she's touching the crystal, right? Now watch what Dagan does when he does it. There's so much intention behind what he's doing. You can see he's trying to do this to his crystal. Like, it doesn't just bleed because he touches it or picks it up. He picks it up. You can see him like pouring his energy into it as he pulls it out of his lightsaber, right? And then look what happens when it finally actually like goes red.
Mm-hmm.
It actually releases like this energy blast out of it. That's animated, right? But then you watch Osha do it. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's not trying to bleed her crystal or bleed Soul's crystal. So like, from the scene, she pours most of that like hatred and anger into Soul himself, right? When she kills him, she puts all that hate into the person, not into the Kyber. And the idea behind the Kyber bleeding that comes from the comics when it's explained to Vader what he has to do, and then when Kylo Ren does it, the theory behind it is basically you have to want to hurt this thing. You have to put all your intention and hate into this crystal to bleed it. You can't do it. It's not the beginning of your turn to the dark side. You're not starting it by touching this crystal. You have to already be committed to this hatred, to the dark side, to bleed a crystal. You have to know that that's what you're doing, and you have to want to do it because you're showing this crystal. It is yours.
Was
and
that
it will
Dagon dude
follow your commands?
Was that Dagon dude already a Sith, or was he like a Jedi before?
No, he was a Jedi. He was a High Republic Jedi. Have you played Jedi Survivor? First off, I highly recommend it. You will probably really enjoy the game. If you have Game Pass, it's on Game Pass. You can play through it. It's incredibly fun to play. You will just enjoy it from a gameplay point of view, and it's got a really good story. I highly recommend it.
So he was a Jedi, just like Osha was.
He was a Jedi from the yes, but his story, he tried to establish a Jedi temple on Tanalorr, a planet like beyond the Outer Rim, and when the Nihil arrived, who were like a band of raiders who had force-eating creatures with them, they would husk Jedi. They would like turn them into stone, and they would crumble to dust when they fought these things. The Jedi, right? He was forced to abandon this world, and then he tried to like force it to stay there, and he lost his arm in a fight when he tried to kill his friend. She's the one who put him in the Bacta tank to try and save him. But he also has this resentment to the Jedi that's centuries old, and when Cal Kestis tells him what happened to the Jedi and the rise of the Empire, he feels justified in his hatred for the Jedi. So that justifies his hatred. And because he also comes from a more enlightened time, he knows how the crystals work. He knows how to bleed it. He was also like a researcher / explorer type Jedi, right? So when he found out, he just went, fuck it. And he bled his crystal on purpose. But you also notice his crystal doesn't go like red, it goes kind of more orange.
I was reading the comments to that video, and someone said because the crystal was his, it was attuned to him.
Yes.
That's why it went that color and not like fully red.
Yeah, so the way a Sith's lightsaber works is they have to kill and take it from a Jedi. So they basically, part of the idea is that they're perverting something the Jedi holds sacred. Yeah. That's why Jedi lightsabers are like all these natural colors, these vibrant, cool colors, for the most part, with the exception of yellow, but those are like the sun, so it's like these golden lights that bring hope, right? That's kind of what they're meant to represent. And when the Sith would do it, they would kill the Jedi, take apart their lightsaber, and steal their crystals, and then purposefully bleed those red to kind of be like, fuck you to the Jedi, your shit is now ours, and it will obey us. So they would force it to attune to them, and their hatred and that anger, and pour it all into that crystal.
I got a quick question. Was the lightsaber that Osha bled, was that Soul's?
Yes, that was Soul's lightsaber.
So would I be right in thinking that because the crystals are like semi-alive to some degree, maybe the crystal knew that what Soul did was wrong, and it didn't really fight back all that much?
I mean, you could take that, but I don't think so, because even if you think something's wrong, right, and you want to help someone,
well, the reason why my line of thinking goes to that is because how easily the dude with one arm what was his name again?
One arm. Oh,
yeah,
Dagon.
How Dagon easily bled his lightsaber was
but
because
even when he bled
maybe because the crystal felt the same way. Because it was his crystal, and it was attuned to him.
But even when he did it, remember, it still gives off like this explosion that blasts Kel back. it still gives off like a small explosion of energy when he finally bleeds it red. Like it's not something that's supposed to be an easy thing. That's the start of your journey, because that's why I really don't like it in the Acolyte, because it's portrayed as too easy to the point of you can do it accidentally.
Well,
which then has also led to a lot of people on Twitter being like, why did Anakin's lightsaber not just fucking go red, other than the fact that Luke gets it in episode 4 as blue? Like,
well, maybe
it does lead up to the question of, and it's like, okay, Osha could touch the crystal itself, right? Because it does like.
So
come
going
out.
back to the original with Anakin and his lightsaber, does he have the same crystal and lightsaber the whole run through to him as like a Padawan to him as Vader, or does he get like another lightsaber and crystal?
So he has three. He gets 3 crystals from the time he's a Padawan to the time he's Vader, right? So he has a crystal from when he becomes Obi-Wan's Padawan to episode 2, where he loses his lightsaber in the like factory. He then goes back to Ilum and gets a new crystal. That's the one he puts in the lightsaber that Luke eventually ends up.
And that's the one he keeps when he's Vader?
No. So he loses that lightsaber when he fights Obi-Wan. At the end of episode 3, you see Obi-Wan pick up that lightsaber and he leaves with that lightsaber. Vader never sees that crystal again.
And so, and that's
Sith lightsaber,
and that's the one Luke has.
That's the one Luke gets, and then Rey gets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Vader's Sith crystal. He went and found a Jedi just after Order 66 who had taken the Baresh vow. So the same thing you see Master Torben having taken. This is another Jedi who'd also taken the Baresh vow, and he was on just an outer rim planet. I can't remember which one right now, but he had a green lightsaber. And when Vader went to get his lightsaber, he went and fought this guy. He killed this Jedi and took his lightsaber.
Okay, I think I'm remembering this comic. Was the Jedi Vader fought, was he like without a shirt and like a mountain man? Okay,
yeah. So that is the crystal Vader had. When he tried to bleed that crystal, it fought back and tried to show him visions to make him go back to the light.
Because it was another Jedi's crystal, and it was attuned to another Jedi.
It was part of that, but also remember that when you're bleeding a crystal, you're not just like changing its color. You're actively hurting.
Yeah, you're corrupting it.
You're torturing it into compliance. So it's not. That's another reason why I fucking hate how the Acolyte did it. Is because it's always described as wounding.
Would you say like how Dagon corrupted his crystal so easily was because? Okay, my theory is because the reason how he was able to do it so easily was because it was his crystal and he had it the whole time, and the crystal most likely felt the same way. That's why it didn't resist him all that much, and why it was so quickly.
It's partially, I feel like it's partially that he was forcing it into alignment with him, because I feel like part of why he ended up bleeding it was he woke up, he picked up his lightsaber and went, this doesn't feel right to me. Something about this, it feels wrong. Because you see him pick up his saber, kind of feel it, and then he puts it back down, and then he pulls it apart and pulls out the crystal, right? So I feel like part of it is he's reattuning it to himself, but he's also, because of all the hatred and stuff he has, he ends up like just burning. He ends up bleeding it. But he's also intentionally pouring all that hate and that emotion into it, and he gets it like that, and he goes, okay, now this feels
so
right.
when you look at when Vader bled that crystal, and then when Dagon bled that one, since they
both feel like
they're not the same. One was easier than the other. You don't find any problem with that?
Yes. No, I feel like, first off, it was Dagon's crystal, so it would be slightly easier for him. And 2, he doesn't bleed it to like pure scarlet as Vader's. So I feel like he doesn't go as far with wounding or bleeding the crystal as Vader.
So the fact
he doesn't go as far as a true Sith.
So the fact that Osha bled it so easily.
She bled it super easily, and then she bled it like completely scarlet, leaves me going, that makes it feel like it's too easy to do when other characters have done the same thing. Characters who all feel way more powerful than Osha, right?
Okay, what if they added like a snippet in where like the Khmer's like adds like, wow, you bled that really easily. It's almost like the crystal felt like the same way towards Soul as you did.
I mean, it would go a little way towards it, but I still don't think that would fix it, because I think the main issue, especially I have, is the fact if you watch the scene, Osha looks confused by what she's doing. Like, there's even a scene after the lightsaber like changes color completely. She like pulls it to herself and looks at it and goes, "What?" Like, she genuinely just looks confused by what happened. Like both Osha and May look confused by the saber changing color. They have. So I'm like, you can't have a character bleed something and then be confused by it.
Well,
it's just
she's
like
touching the crystal directly. It looks like some veins are going.
Dude, I want to watch Ella's song again.
Some going into it.
No, I'm telling. I rewatched the scene today as well. I made a TikTok using it and like cut it together.
It's not completely red, but she's still
like look at her face. Look at her face.
Well, it's because she's never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, but if you're pouring your hate into a crystal, right? Remember the crystals don't react to this. You would feel it, so she shouldn't look confused. Even like Dagon doesn't looks like it does it easy, but you still see intentionality, so you can kind of be like, he did this on purpose. He hurt this thing. He's ignoring its cries for pain, right? If you're a character who's shown to have compassion like Osha throughout like most of the show, she's shown to be compassionate. Maybe hurt in this particular instance a lot, where she's like holding onto her hatred a lot because of what Soul did. I can understand that. But still having her just the shorthand be bleed crystal and then do that, she still looks so confused by the fact that it's changed color that I'm like, as a Jedi, she should feel a lot more from this, and they could have at least had her look a lot angrier. So it's also possible that the actor just didn't sell the scene to me at all, and it feels just too cheap to be a good scene.
Anakin was too emotionally unstable and distracted to let the crystal bleed. Focus the hatred and direct it at one person at a time.
Yeah, like a lot of the descriptions for bleeding crystals are like, you have to focus on the crystal itself to bleed it like that. And her hatred is all directed at Soul, and I'm like,
ooh, I like this one. I like this theory. Khmer hinted that Soul was hiding his dark side. Perhaps the crystal was already under pressure from Soul, which leads into my theory that the crystal gave in so easily because it was already attuned to what it either agreed with what Osha wanted, or it was already feeling the dark side energy that Soul was giving off.
The thing is, while Khmer says that about Soul, I don't agree with it, because I feel like Soul's darkness was mostly his secret and the guilt he constantly felt for what happened, and he ended up justifying his guilt to try and feel less guilty. He justified it to himself and everyone else, and that's why everyone's like, you're hiding your darkness. He's hiding his guilt. And all of that darkness is just his guilt that he even tries to expel when he tells Osha and May. He admits to the truth. He may try and justify it straight away, but he also does admit that he did wrong. And it also looks like he was starting that process of letting go of that guilt when he died. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree, Lindy. They were definitely going for that, like, lash out, can't take it back, but it still doesn't feel like they did it right.
What would you think if they wanted to do the thing that we saw in the show to make it feel right to you? What would they have to do?
They would have to have it be that Osha was doing this to the crystal itself. She was trying to do it. So they would have to either have her like meditating on the crystal to hurt it, like you see, so kind of the vibe of Starkiller,
So
right? When he's
so maybe
holding his
after
lightsaber, where
after
he's-
she kills Soul, she gets the lightsaber and she's like in her room alone and she's like meditating, and she's like trying to take apart the crystal or the lightsaber, and she's just she's like getting flashbacks to what he's saying, and
yeah, like that would fit. That would feel better, or even. Lenny, I can read. I read perfectly fine.
okay, go on.
Anyway, so
Osha's
feel like
meditating, taking
if
the
they
crystal
had-
apart. She's getting flashbacks to what the emotions she felt,
even
and she's bleeding
she-
the crystal.
So either that, and then she's like meditating but then she has Kumir going. Now take all that you're feeling from all of what has happened and pour that into the crystal. Like, have a scene where she's trying and pushing all that energy into the crystal, and then when it finally bleeds, it has like a pop, like you see with Dagon, where it has that like explosion of energy, where it doesn't really affect her because she's the one bleeding it, but it still like pushes Kumir back, and it's creates this feeling of there's a lot of energy being poured into this thing.
What if there wasn't a pop? What if it just happens like unceremoniously?
I feel like they would cheapen it and kind of take away from the fact that almost every other depiction, except for the Acolyte, has shown it have this like energy explosion, and that like the bleeding is part of the lore reason why Kylo Ren has a crossguard saber,
Because he fractured
is he
it?
cracked his because he put so much energy into his crystal when he bled it that it cracked. And
Yeah, I saw
it's in the lore already that was pre-established by the movies.
I saw a
that
comment
you
talking
can
about
do,
that too.
you'll do this.
And they said that he didn't really have much experience in the Force, and that's why it cracked.
Thing is, that's also shown to be wrong because he was trained by Luke. So he didn't have like High Republic era level Jedi or like high Sith era like training in how to do it, but he still knew what he was doing. So he had enough force. Maybe he didn't know how to do it, but I feel like the main reason was the reason it cracked was the crystal just couldn't take the amount of like darkness he was feeling, and it just cracked. And it's not that he put too much into it, it's just the crystal wasn't strong enough for what he needed.
So, okay, going back to Acolyte, what if the director went up to you and said, "Oh, we didn't do it this way because we felt like it would have broken up the pacing. It felt like more if it fit more if she did it as she bled the crystal as she's killing Saul."
I would have told him that's fucking stupid. And I get what you were going for. You were trying to give a shorthand of she's like falling to the dark side. But a better way to do that would be if you really wanted to saber color change, right? You could even do it the Dagon Gera way, where it just changes from it just kind of goes to a dirty yellow instead of going fully bled red. It goes to like a dirtier, darker color, but it doesn't fully bleed immediately. So you can see that there's like she is falling to the dark side, right? She hasn't just gone woof all the way to the dark side, and all that hate is easy. Especially given she's characterized as being very empathetic up until that point.
Yeah.
You get me? So I would have been like, if you want that, tone it down. Tone down how the color change. Don't have it be so fucking stark. Have it really muted. Have like a muted change. Maybe even make it go a color closer to like Balin's skull from Ahsoka, which isn't red. It's like an orangey color, where you can tell they're not Sith, but they're also not Jedi. They're something.
They're like
different.
the gray Jedi, or like hey, you saw Visions, right? The Star Wars Visions.
No, Chris, I haven't watched every piece of Star Wars media.
So you remember
that's come
the
out.
the one
I
where the
totally
samurai
didn't do that.
Sith guy, where he's like fighting the other Sith?
Yes.
Something like that. Then he's still good, but he just has a red lightsaber.
Yeah, but it also feels like the lore from in that is slightly different with lightsabers because there's a novel that's linked to that. That's like the continuation of that
Mhm.
story, and he meets like a Jedi character. Oh, your network is gone. Woo.
What do you mean, my network?
Oh no, I just lost your stream for a
Oh,
second. Don't even worry about it. It's good. We're good. We're good. We are good. Good.
I also feel like
Good.
every talk we have always just like goes into Star Wars at some point.
Look at my face, Chris.
Yes,
What face do I have?
you have a
What does my
you have a
face
Kit
look
Fisto
like?
face.
Yes. Now, I'm an Outland, so where the fuck else would it go? Would it go to Star Trek? Cool, let's go talk about some fucking Vulcans. Shall we? Let's talk about the Vulcans,
That would be
shall
so
we?
cool. What Star Trek stuff?
They're the most boring
What?
species.
Shut up. What Star Trek stuff have you seen?
I've seen the first 3 seasons of Next Generation. I've seen most of the movies for Next Generation. I watched the first half of Voyager, of season 1 of Voyager. I couldn't get any further. I got bored. I got
Dude, we
incredibly
should
bored.
do a watch along of the Star Trek stuff, the stuff you haven't seen of Next Generation, going up to deep
I got bored of Next
going
Generation
up
as
to
well.
Deep Space Nine. We could just do it like as
Okay, but
podcast stuff.
If you
that'd
want
be
if
cool.
you want to try that, Chris, if you want to try that, then you have to watch all of Andor.
All right, I can make that compromise. Can you? Because there's a lot of Next Generation and a lot of Deep Space Nine and a lot of Voyager.
But the thing is, I'm gonna exchange seasonally because I'm gonna force you to watch other shit as well, so we can at least space everything out, right? So it's gonna be for a start. I'm gonna make you watch all of Andor to watch like a season. Then I'm gonna start making you watch all of Kamen Rider, which feels fair if we just go season by season.
Yeah,
And it will be like
honestly,
trading. Or I could make you watch Doctor Who.
honestly,
Or if I really wanted to be spiteful, I'd be like, okay, cool, we'll watch all of Doctor Who.
honestly, that would be down because we'd have more stuff to talk about on the podcast.
That's true. And you would also expand your horizons on the amount of crazy bullshit out there.
All right, okay. We'll start with Andor, and then by like I'm off. Like what days am I off? I'm off today and tomorrow, so I could probably watch all of Andor today, and then tomorrow we could watch the whole the. What season are you on Next Generation that you've seen?
I've seen up to season 3.
Okay, then we could see season 4 tomorrow then, and just do like a little watch along, and like stream our reactions to it. And then do that as a podcast. That'd be fun.
It's too long, that's why. You have to cut it
And
out.
then let's see.
Also, Lindy has a comment that she keeps trying to say, but it keeps getting devoured by Twitch. It's just not sending. So she has this idea for changing adding like 3 or 4 scenes to it, where
For Acolyte?
we're just changing. Yeah, for Acolyte. Where Osha's forced to meditate with the Cortosis helmet, and it's further confirmed that she and May are like the same person, right? And now that they've fully reconnected and like made that connection, they start sharing memories properly, so they both get each other's halves of the story. You know what I mean? So they both link through, and they see the full context of the story. Plus, May gets to feel what it was like for Osha learning to be a Jedi and what the Jedi are actually like, as opposed to what her witchy mother told
Dude,
her.
I love whenever you say OSHA. I have captions on my stream, and it just says in bold letters OSHA, like the OSHA.
Yeah, we're an OSHA violation. It's fine. And then just add a few more scenes where she like starts questioning her mind if it was a vision of like her seeing Saul really kill her mom, or if it was like a twisted thing of it. So she also gets that memory May had of Saul killing their mother. And then when she confronts Saul and confirms it, she lashes out with like all the anger and stuff, and she kills him. And then afterwards, she gets convinced to bleed Soul's lightsaber as like a fuck you to Soul, and to the weapon that killed her mother. So it becomes this whole symbol of like destroying everything that hurt her, including the very lightsaber that took her mother's life. Which I think is kind of what they were going for with bleeding.
That'd be cool
lightsaber,
too.
But
like I said before, I'm perfectly fine with what they did in the actual show. But one little piece of stuff that I've been like reading up on with like regards to Acolyte. So Plagueis apparently he didn't want to create life. He just wanted to live forever. And apparently he did like experiments, and the Force basically was like, you did those experiments, we're gonna create Anakin as a basically like a back and forth. Since you did this, we got to do this to combat you, so there's balance.
It's basically to balance it out, yeah.
So people were getting upset like that May and Osha made Anakin's story pointless, but when it's entirely different. Anakin's creation was to combat Plagueis, and Osha and May were just created for some reason, or like no reason, maybe. Something completely different.
It also just occurred to me.
What?
Speaking of Plagueis, we didn't bring up the fact that Plagueis was in that last episode.
I could have sworn we did.
Brought it up. We did last time. Did we? Because every time I think about it, I'm like, he had such a weird design, and how old is the canon version? Of
also, I also read that apparently, the cameo by Plagueis was supposed to be at the end of the episode, not like in the middle. So like it was gonna be like with Kamir and then Osha looking over the horizon at the sunset, and it was just gonna cut to like the cave of Plagueis just like peeking out from the side, just looking, and then it was gonna like do the fade and like da 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 da.
I get you.
Honestly, I would have felt like that would have been a lot more impactful if Plagueis was just there at the end, just like looking over them. What about you? Do you think that would have been better?
No, because I personally feel like what's happening in Acolyte with Osha and Kremir is they're not true Jedi. They're not true Sith, right? They're both like fallen ex-Jedi. But Plagueis and Sidious, well, Plagueis at least is around, and he's gonna fucking kill them. They are gonna get murked.
Oh, dude,
by Plagueis. I'm convinced.
Dude, what if
like they're gonna the actual Sith are gonna encounter them and just fucking
so you
kill
remember
them. And it's not even gonna be a thing of like Kremir's fancy tricks won't even save him. He'll just get fucking.
So you
murked.
remember when I said that Plagueis did experiments to try to prolong his life? What if Kamir and then Osha were like he did the experiments on?
Were part of they were like part of the experiments where he's. That's possible. Although part of why Plagueis ended up trying to extend his life was because of his master, Darth Tenebrae, trying to extend his life, where he infected him with what he called, not midichlorians, they were called maxichlorians, where they were like his entire like life force was stuck there, and he did make himself immortal. The problem was when he infected Plagueis with a like virus thing that held his like spirit in it. It took away his ability. See, I told you.
This is so stupid. Maxichlorians. It's like the kind of Star Wars shit. It's like the kind of Star Wars dumb stuff that I love.
I know, but like the Tenebrae ended up like just being a ghost possessing a dead body. So technically he's still alive in Legends. Like he never died, but he's just like a corpse in the background somewhere that everyone forgot, who can't do shit. He's just dead. And I genuinely think that's hilarious.
Oh, God. Where he was forced to relive his final moments and afterwards in a loop over and over, seemingly for all eternity. So they just
Yep.
they fucking gave him the Diavolo treatment. That's so funny.
I love it. He has this whole thing to like steal Plagueis' body. Doesn't work. Tries to steal Anakin's body. Doesn't fucking work. And then Plagueis gets murked by Sidious.
Yeah,
Which-
like
Just the way of the although Sidious just kills him in his sleep. I'm like, you dumb fuck.
that's such an
You know-
easy way to kill him. Just like kill him while he's asleep. Honestly, I can definitely see
fair-
Plagueis doing that.
Sidious doing
Or
that.
sorry, yeah.
Plagueis
Sidious.
killed Tenebrae. Plagueis killed Tenebrae when a mountain fell on him.
Ugh.
And I'm not kidding. That's genuinely what happened.
Oh, okay. Moving on to stuff that's been happening in like the news. I saw this a while back.
Time for the news.
News. Da 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 news.
Dun, 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 dun,
Da 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 da
News.
na na or news 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 news. Every time you gotta sing that, all right, going forward. Apparently, Larian CEO Swin Vic says there are only 2 other RPG series he was interested in working on if he couldn't get Baldur's Gate, which were Fallout and Ultima. If the people behind Baldur's Gate 3 made a Fallout game, I would be so happy. That would have been like, because I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3. It was probably like one of my favorite games to play when it came out. And I really love Fallout. So if you just merge those 2 games together, that would be so fucking cool. I have no idea what Ultima is though. You know what Ultima is?
Yeah. Not a fucking clue. Never heard of it.
What would you play a Fallout like Baldur's Gate 3 style game?
Probably not.
Why not? You like Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate. I like Baldur's Gate 3, but I've never been able to finish it. And I haven't been able to finish Fallout either. Like, both games are games where I'm like, these are cool, but I don't know if they're exactly for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
The ADHD means I end up like too much of a rush to do stuff, and I'm like, this is too much walking.
That
Not enough like stuff happening.
that is completely fair. I don't think I'd be able to play the original Fallout games, like 1 and 2, because they're like real janky and stuff and too hard. But if like Larian wants to make a Fallout game and they do in the future, I'd definitely play it. It'd be so interesting to see where it takes place in like the Fallout timeline, or if it's just like its own standalone game. That'd be cool too.
That's true.
Uh,
Fallout and D&D campaign could be.
yeah,
pretty cool.
Fallout as a D&D campaign. That'd be
agree with
really
you.
cool. But I feel like we'd have
Yeah.
to like create like a whole new system with like guns and stuff.
There are systems that already have that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because I know the
Even D&D has
artificer
that,
is like someone that has like a gun.
Yeah. But there are also homebrew systems, and there's a few Star Wars systems even out there.
Dude, I'd love to do a D&D Star Wars thing. That'd be cool to do.
Yeah, we should see if we can find a decent DM, and then we should do it as it's like a podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like
That'd be fun.
A side thing to do.
Yeah, or even like a special, like a special for like 50th or whatever.
Mm,
50th podcast.
the
or
50th
something.
podcast episode. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Right.
So another thing, speaking of like Fallout and Bethesda and stuff, Bethesda Game Studios has unionized, and Microsoft has officially recognized the union. The company has already recognized unions formed by Activision QA workers and ZeniMax Studios QA workers. The CWA describes this as a first wall-to-wall union at a Microsoft video game studio, meaning that all eligible job titles will be represented by the CWA instead of just one type of worker. According to the CWA's Catalina Brenna Gattaca, until now all the unions at Microsoft-owned studios have only been formed by QA workers. Well, obviously, unions are a good thing in any workforce. They're going to have more more like saying power and how much they'll get paid and more. So, because we all know like games are like crunch is like a major thing in some game studios. That's like a really bad thing. So hopefully with this they'll be able to have more say in how long they'll be able to work and making sure they're not overworked too much. You have any opinions on that, AC?
No strong ones.
All in all, it's a good thing. Hopefully this moving forward, this is like a type of standard where in like game studios where they can unionize and not face any like retaliatory things. Because I know in like corporations like Amazon and stuff, like they have anti-union busting like videos and stuff, where they like as soon as something.
Oh no, the union bust all the fucking
Yeah.
time. The problem, it's more like, so I like the idea of video games, especially having unions, because it means if they can unionize properly, they'll slow down all the games that come out, which on the surface level everyone will be like, but I feel like that's better because the developers get like,
ample time to like fully
sleep.
complete games, right?
Yeah, and then they can also be like, let us finish the fucking games before we put them out, instead of having you guys like force us to rush it, and then it's fucked when it comes
Like
out.
how
Because we haven't actually finished the
how
fucking
Jedi
game.
Survivor was when it launched and it was super fucking broken on
Jedi
PC.
Survivor, it wasn't super broken. It was a little bit. There were like a few glitches, but it wasn't the most heinous thing I've
Yeah,
played.
but just
I played things
just-
that were broken, but that was like that. It. I will say though, it did feel more like not a beta, like just pre-release where they're still debugging, but it's like almost releasable. So it's beta, but like very late beta. Like it's 2 or 3 iterations off from being finished. It wasn't like 10 off from being finished, and they still had to like build sections of the game.
I felt like if they took like another month or a couple months on Jedi Survivor, the release would have been a lot more smooth when it came to the PC version. When you look at like a company like Larian, where they took all the time in the world to make sure everything was like perfect on release, and there wasn't like a day one patch or something like that, and there were like hot fixes to fix like a little bit of stability issues. Like chapter 1 and 2, when I played, were absolutely amazing. It ran like perfectly, and that was me playing it while I was streaming it. But when it came to like chapter 3, and like when you actually got to Baldur's Gate, it was like a little like really rough. Like if you look back in my collection, like when I got at the end of Baldur's Gate 3, I was like just rushing because like some textures wouldn't even load in. Like there's like a dock at the end of the game where like there's like a penultimate like decision making. Like the dock didn't even load in. It was like a complete like empty realm of nothingness, which was really annoying. But the rest of the game was good. I just wish chapter 3 was had a little bit more polish.
Yeah, that I'm with Lindy on that though. That
Put a stop.
should definitely get rid
And for
of
the
that
love
shit.
of everything holy, put a stop to that stunt where they mass fired devs after that practically built the whole game, and then don't even have their names in the credits. Exactly. I hate when that happens. Like with what happened. I don't know if this is exactly what happened with Tango Gameworks when Hi-Fi Rush, it was like such a massive success, and they just went ahead and like closed the studio and fired everyone afterwards. That really sucks. It needed the love C1 and 2 had, exactly. What's C1 and C2? I don't know what game that is.
I have
But yeah,
no
welcome.
idea.
Hey, Isaac. Oh, Chapter 1 and
Chapter
2.
1 and
Yeah,
2.
exactly. Chapter 1 and 2 were perfect, performance-wise. Yeah, but Chapter 3 needed some more. It could be like Chapter 3 is like completely fixed now, but I don't know. I haven't played it since I finished the game. But going on to another game series I love, Marvel vs. Capcom. Matsumoto, producer of Street Fighter 6, says maybe there is a new opportunity for a Marvel vs. Capcom game or a Capcom-based SNK game.
I have never played a Marvel vs. Capcom game in my entire life.
The only fighting game you played is like Tekken, right?
I played Tekken, Soul Calibur, Street Fighter.
Oh.
Both Injustice games, Mortal Kombat. I played Mortal Kombat vs. DC. That was
that one.
That game was
I
so
know.
dumb, but it was so funny to have like a brutality done by fucking Batman.
So, okay, let me see. How much is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on Steam right now? Let me look this up. Store, because we got to get you playing that game. Because Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was one of my favorite games in the MVC series. A lot of people love Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Or not, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That one got a lot of people into the series. And that's a good one. Marvel vs. Capcom. Not Marvel Rivals. Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh, it's actually like $7.49 right now on Steam.
What's 7?
Marvel vs. or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It ends July 31st.
If you get it for me, I will play it. But that.
Okay, that's the next thing. We got to get you to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But
I will play it on stream. To be fair, if you guys buy us shit, we will play it on stream for you guys to watch.
speaking
Provided it's multiplayer.
Speaking of, hold on. There's a thing. I just recently opened up a Ko-Fi. I can go ahead.
And my Ko-Fi is still running with me attempting to still get an upgraded mic.
Let's see, membership. I can just go ahead and read you off some of the stuff that I put, because one of the tiers is, one of the rewards if you pledge, is suggest a podcast topic for an episode and we'll talk about it. And then one tier is suggest a co-op game for me and AC to play. Which it could be like Chained Together, like the rage-inducing game, or it could be like something like we'd both enjoy.
Although the dumber the game,
Yeah.
the better, because we like dumb
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
You might even be able to talk us into attempting golf with friends, but that will be a disaster because Chris.
Well, I'm mainly focused on like games like that have a little bit of story, or like how we're doing Resident Evil 6 and how we did Resident Evil 5. So we can like enjoy like the stupidity of the story.
True. Stardew Valley.
Stardew would be like a good.
It's gonna be Haley, Lindy. He is going to simp off over
Which
Haley.
one is Haley again? Is that the purple-haired one?
No.
Stardew.
Never mind. Lindy, who's got purple hair again?
Oh, the blonde lady?
Since you know all the characters. Yeah.
Oh, no, I would hate Haley.
Why?
I think I've...
Have you talked to her?
I think so. She's like the high school... Not like high school, but she's like a... what is it?
Abigail, that one.
Yeah, Abigail. Abigail's the one I like.
Thanks, Ghetto. Lindy, Ghetto, you both know the same man.
Yeah, Garo...
Also, Ghetto, you've gotten Lindy addicted to something.
Garo absolutely loves Stardew Valley.
You know what I want to see is Lindy and Ghetto doing a playthrough
Ooh, that'd be
together.
fun. That'd be fun.
Mostly because they would be like, okay, cool, and then speed run getting the community center in like half a year.
But yeah, going back to the Street Fighter, the new Marvel vs. Capcom game, I hope with all that is in my heart that they make a new Marvel vs. Capcom game so I can play it. MVCI was cool, but it wasn't as good as Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But the next thing on the docket was a new game called Zoocosis. Have you heard of this game?
No.
No? Okay, well,
I ain't heard
it's
of
a
shit.
thing-styled zoo game. It releases September 23. But if you're watching the thing right now, here's like a little trailer for it.
Oof. Sorry, Ghetto. Sucks to have crappy internet, dude.
Yeah. It's all the mods. So basically, you're a zookeeper. You got to take care of the animals, feed them and stuff. But there's a virus that's infecting the animals and turning them into crazy, bloodthirsty monsters. It's like straight out of The Thing, if you've seen that movie.
Which
The
version?
John Carpenter one, the original one.
That's not the original one. That's the remake.
No, I mean, you know what I mean. Not the thing from another world. I mean the 1980 one.
I know which one. I mean, yeah, I can see which one you mean, but I'm still being
Yes.
obtuse because it annoys you.
See? Oh, it looks so cool. Like the designs, like the fucking zebra. Ugh. I was just showing AC the trailer for Zoocosis. I will definitely be playing that. It looks so
sick.
cool.
It does look cool.
Look-
Although the games I'm probably going to end up playing are going to be. I still need to force Chris to play Alien Isolation on stream.
I mean,
That'd be fun.
I think I have it on PlayStation as part of the PlayStation Plus thing.
Yeah, you should totally play it.
So the next thing on the docket, since you're really into Tekken 8,
Oh, Heihachi's coming.
Heihachi is back.
How is he not dead? How is this fucker not dead?
I know, right?
7 ended with him dying.
So I haven't
You haven't even played.
I
these
haven't
games?
played. Was it 7 that killed him off, or was it 8?
7. 8's the new one. That
So
just
how
came out.
did how did
wasn't-
he die in 7 in the story?
He got thrown into a volcano, and the last we saw was him Terminator 2ing his a hand into the fucking lava. He was fucking dead.
So the whole trailer of him coming back is like, apparently I think it might be like a different version of Heihachi, because if you go like further down, like him coming out of the volcano is
Heihachi?
like him looking really younger. He doesn't have like the white like mustache and hair.
He does have the bald.
Yeah, see,
him.
like in the
That's-
I'm showing him the trailer. That
was up to
that's,
Tekken. There we go. That's Tekken 7.
Look, like his hair is like all black and stuff.
That's just. Nah, that's just the shadows.
No.
How the fuck is this cunt not dead?
I saw so many people angry that he's come back to life, and apparently it's like a story thing too, which lends credence to the fact that fighting games don't have a story and you shouldn't really care, because if Heihachi can fall into a volcano and canonly die in the last game, then
Also,
it doesn't really matter if you kill off a character or not. And I know, and
I mean, it's a Tekken thing. It already didn't matter if you could kill off a character because Heihachi has died 3 times.
and it's funny. It's funny at the end of the fucking trailer. It shows Raven, or it doesn't show Raven. It shows, I think, in one of the in one of the parts of the trailer, it shows like Raven saying Heihachi Mishima is dead. Let me see.
Linda?
Honestly, it could have been that it was shown at the reveal trailer at Evo, but there's like a thing where Raven is like, Heihachi Mishima is dead, and it's like synced with like him saying it at one of the other Tekken games.
Yeah.
And people were like making fan art of Raven, like Raven, you.
I think he died in 4? I think Heihachi first died in 3 or 4, then Jinpachi was his father was the enemy for 5.
It could have been 4 because what I remember of 4 is like the opening movie before the game starts is like showing like his house or his home like blowing up, and like Raven being like Heihachi Mishima is dead, and like a Jack O kills him, I think, or a Jack Robot or Jack 8
no.
blows him up.
No, not Jack 8. That would have been like Jack 5. Jack 8's only in Tekken 8. You can always remember the number of Jacks by
the Jack
which game
Robot.
they're in.
I'm not too familiar with like the whole Jack stuff, so.
Yeah, his thing is weird.
But yeah, I can't believe Heihachi is back, but I can totally believe that he's back because they need Heihachi in every Tekken game. And the fun.
He's not in every Tekken game. He's not in 5. His dad is in 6. I don't think he's like a DLC character in 6, and then he's the main character in 7, and then in 8 he wasn't in it till
Now,
he's still not in it. He's still technically not in it yet.
are you gonna play? Are you gonna get the DLC or Heihachi Mishima, the guy who survived falling in a volcano?
After I get Tekken 8, yeah. I still don't have Tekken 8
Oh,
yet.
I thought you did.
It's
Or is it
expensive as
7?
fuck. I don't have it yet. I have
Okay.
7. Because 8 is... like, also, if you guys ever want to get me a gift and you get me Tekken 8, I will be fucking over the moon. But yeah, don't. That shit's expensive.
And the final thing is, you might hate that this is happening, or you might love it, depending on who's listening. But a Skibidi Toilet movie and franchise is in the work from Michael Bay.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
So have you ever seen anything related to Skibidi Toilet?
Nope. I've avoided it so far. Wait, no, I have. I've seen Skibidi Toilet in a Devil Artemis episode, and that's it. And I refuse
at first...
If you try and show me actual Skibidi Toilet, I will hang up and vanish.
Skibidi Toilet starts off super stupid and like memey and stuff, but after like a while, it starts having a story, and it starts turning into like a mecha robot war anime, which is crazy. But this should this should definitely be something that we watch for a podcast, a supplemental thing. AC watches Skibidi Toilet and can't leave.
But leaves anyway because fuck Skibidi Toilet. I don't want to watch that shit.
But now that we've talked about it, we have to watch it. If we're gonna be watching, if I'm gonna have to watch Andor, you have to watch Skibidi Toilet.
No. The deal was for Andor was I would watch all of fucking Star Trek.
Okay.
Fuck you.
I think it's only fair. If we're going
No.
back and forth, and it's for content, AC. Why not?
Because
Why?
No, I am not sitting there and watching a man's head come out of a toilet for 2 hours. I refuse.
Okay, wait. Let me see. Skibidi Toilet runtime. TV series. Every season of the episodes is roughly 4 minutes long in total. Let's see. Don't leave. I'm just pulling it up to see. Actually, wait. There's just like the full episodes. In order. Just to see how long. It's be like an hour 42 minutes. To 1 to 76. All like, look. You got the camera people. They make giant mechas. It's so cool. Also, Fallout London just came out too, so maybe I plan on buying it on GOG, so I can play Fallout London because it's easier to get it on there. Plus, it's like half off and stuff.
Wait, is Fallout London just a fucking DLC?
It's
Well,
it's
mod.
a fan made DLC mod. It's like
Huh.
maybe bigger than like the full Fallout 4 map. But it has like a bunch of like content and stuff. A lot of content. And like 7 companions and stuff. But yeah. Anyone have any questions in chat about stuff? If not, we can just go ahead and go to the email section. If you want to send us an email, go ahead and send us an email at 2idiotgamersmail@gmail.com if you want to write to us about anything. But if not,
You want us to watch Entalia?
what?
I thought I watched most of it already.
Watch most of what?
Hentalia. Axis powers. It's so dumb.
Is that the one where
It's mostly just a bunch of people picking on Isley.
is that the one where they're like tanks, or is that Girls in Panzer?
That's Girls in Panzer.
What is this one about?
It's the Axis powers if they were humans. Actually, it's all of the World War II powers if they were humans. And Isley was an idiot.
Wait, so like
Germany was put upon.
but the main cast is primarily
And-
countries made up of Axis powers. So each country is like its own character?
Yes.
Huh. That's almost exactly like Girls in Panzer.
It's pretty fucking fun. Actually, I think it's older than Girls in Panzer.
That is pretty funny. Honestly, I might look at it. Maybe just like the first episode or something. I have like so much.
They're
like
short.
so.
They're like short episodes, so you'd probably watch the first 10
God,
and
there's
be like,
7 seasons. Jesus.
shit, what happened? Yes.
I have like so many like other animes that I'm watching, like I Parry Everything, Failure Frame, Senpai's and Otonoko, my dear friend Nokutan, Days with My Stepsister. Those are some really good animes that I've been watching lately. What about you? Have you been watching any animes lately?
No. I was sick over the weekend, like, lying on the couch, taking naps and shit sick. So I just ended up watching all of Gumball.
Oh, right.
The Amazing World. I am now on episode 25 of season 3 of The Amazing World of Gumball.
What do you think about that show?
It's insane. But also, it only really got good about halfway through season 1 and into season 2. And season 3 is just insanity, which is my bread and butter. I love this shit.
What's your favorite character so far in Amazing World of Gumball?
Probably Gumball himself. He is an idiot, but he's glorious.
Who's your least favorite?
Probably Miss Simeon.
Miss Simeon? Why? Because she's just annoying.
No, because she reminds me of every manipulative, spiteful teacher I ever had.
That's true. I like the neighbor Gaylord Robinson. He's pretty funny. He's just like a fucking puppet.
He is literally.
I love his son Rocky. Rocky's cool. There's one moment from the show that I see in clips a lot, is when Gumball and his mom are like going at a pet store and they see a cat and then they look at each other and like the mom's like, just best not to think about it too much.
Pretty much.
Which is funny. Let me take a look at the email. Nope, nothing. All right. And
Yeah, we're still slowly building up people to come watch our chaos.
that's true. But yeah, outside of the Hitalia thing, there's nothing really else to talk about. I don't have anything else on the docket. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, AC, before we go ahead and end it?
No, I've ranted enough, and my voice is dying because I may be mostly healthy, but my voice still needs more rest. So,
That's true.
I
But yeah,
I may just be like, I am dying.
but like I said,
rest.
guys, I did open up a Ko-fi. You can donate or you can subscribe for the memberships. I can go ahead and just read off what the membership tiers are. The bronze weenie, which is $5 a month, the silver weenie, which is $15 a month, and the gold weenie, which is $20 a month. Bronze has the social media shout out and shout out at the end of streams and podcasts, and has a suggest a game for me to play on stream. The silver weenie has the ones at the bronze weenie, adding a direct message and a suggested podcast topic for us to talk about on the podcast. And the gold one has the same ones as the silver, as well as the suggested co-op game for us to play. And I will be 100% upfront about this. If you guys do donate or join or like a membership, it's 100% going to go to paying AC to edit stuff for me, as well as
Or for us
as
as well.
well as for my personal YouTube channel, as well as the 280 Gamers channel, because currently it's all coming out of pocket, which I don't mind, but it would be a lot better to not have to worry about paying rent and then paying AC, because all that stuff. Because money is important.
Yeah, we both need it. We both need that shit to eat.
Not only is
drink.
going to be paying AC, is also going to be paying artists to make stuff like for the podcast itself and like the streams.
As well as potential merch for anyone who's going to be interested in that.
As well as getting more equipment that we can both use. Because I know that AC is currently fundraising to try to get a better mic, because the mic he has is like complete.
My mic isn't like completely shit, but it's like, it's cheap. It needs replacing with something better. It's kind of...
Yeah. If you guys are interested, you can go to my Ko-Fi Crystalwiz TV, or you can go to AC's Ko-Fi, which is, I think, AC Skywalker 97, right?
I believe so. Let me double check my Ko-Fi. It's been a minute since I've been on there. Let me... Ko-Fi, there's...
If you don't mind
Ko-Fi.
watching show Slice of Life anime, you should watch Heidi. Technically the first anime I watched as was dubbed into Afrikaans, and one of the most successful animated shows among the Afrikaans population. Let's see what that is. What is that called? Heidi?
Yeah.
Let's see. Heidi anime. Google! What's wrong, Google? Girl of the Alps? Is that it?
Yeah, that is correct.
Heidi, Girl of the Alps. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, I can definitely tell Miyazaki worked on this. It looks really pretty. Did they make like a 3D version of it? Ooh, they did. That's pretty cool. How long is it? 52 episodes. Runtime is 89 minutes. They made a remake. Ooh. 26 episode, second season. Okay. That sounds nice. I'll see if I can give it a shot. But yep. Did you find out what your Ko-Fi is?
Yeah, it's Kibana Productions.
Okay.
It's basically linked to my YouTube. So it's Kibana Productions, Kibana Productions.
Yeah.
It's a bit slow at the moment, but it's there. I do post a bunch of stuff, usually my behind the scenes stuff for my short films, my works in progress, whatever else.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in supporting us, consider looking at those ones, Crystalwiz TV at Ko-Fi or Kibana Productions at Ko-Fi. Any closing remarks before we go ahead and end it here and raid off to someone else?
Nothing much from me. I'm just a bit tired.
Tired and sick.
Well, not sick so much as just tired. And in need of probably a cup of tea. Cup of tea would do me grand. So if you want ad-free experience, you guys should sub to us, man. We need more subs. More subs means more money. More money means more equipment. More equipment means more streams. More money means more of
Yeah,
this.
more
Less of us
content.
having to do other boring shit. Yeah.
Because as you know, people who subscribe on Twitch takes a cut of that. If you do
Yeah.
want to support us directly to make sure we get 100% of the money you want to give us, Ko-Fi is probably like the best. Plus, you get like perks, like getting special thanks at the end of streams. Not only my streams, but AC streams, and then the streams we do of the podcast, as well as the other perks I talked about earlier.
Plus, in all the YouTube videos afterwards, you guys get special mentions and credits
Yeah, definitely.
afterwards.
As well as our undying love and support, and thanks. Major thanks.
Yeah, it'll be the things. It'll mostly be thanks. And, like, chaotic giggling
Yeah.
when we make things go
Yeah,
boom.
but that's it. Thanks for everyone who joined us today, and thanks for all of you guys who are listening right now. If wherever you guys are listening to this, at whatever podcast platform, make sure to follow, like, do whatever you can, share it around. It really helps. But thank you so much. It really means a lot.
Yep.
Hope you guys have a Star Wars horrific day. Right, AC? No. Well, may the Force be with you.
Complete silence. He will get complete silence on that one, but I will.
May the
be
Force
like,
be with you always. Right?
I'm doing the Chris thing.
Yeah. May the Force be with you always. See you guys.